This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Oh, starting a new story? Let's go.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She got dressed, went to work, clocked in, clocked out, and then she walked home. But her walk on this day was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Moments after seeing him, she would turn, run to the nearest police station, and call for an ambulance. But for just a few brief seconds, she merely stood there, unable to move. The tragedy was not the death of a single person. It was that she would never know this man's story, never hear in his own words what had happened to him, or what he believed had happened to him. For to know these things would be to exist inside the head of the man himself. So all she could do was observe from a distance and pity him. But Mariella had places to be and people to meet with, very important people, whose impressions of her would affect her career and indeed the rest of her life. She stood there for only a moment, looking down at the body, and then she ran.
So what, should I start a new story, or? Derp, it's over. Harder. I'm destined to win this game. Let's do this. I'm destined to win this game. We already saw that, so let's just keep it moving. So just follow his directions this time.
Stanley decided to go to the staff lounge to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. As Stanley entered the lounge, he was horrified to find not a single person there. He decided he would walk up to see his boss, hoping that he would find an answer there.
Alright. Just keep it moving. Yeah, whatever.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No, okay. I wanted to see if there was another staircase down there.
Entering his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
This office is legit.
That he began to feel dizzy and a little sick, and even thought he might pass out, when suddenly he noticed a keypad next to the filing cabinet in the corner of his boss's office. Stanley had never seen this panel before, and had no idea what combination of numbers would produce any result. In fact, only Stanley's boss knew this, since the panel withheld access to the boss's greatest, darkest secret, and so he had assigned the keypad a combination that only he could possibly know, the number of his freshman dorm number in college, 1957. But of course, Stanley couldn't.
What?
Yet incredibly, I simply
I thought that was obvious.
buttons on the keypad. Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. Stanley ventured forth into the new as he drew deeper into the bowels of the building. Stanley had no idea where he was or what this place meant, and just as he began to think he might not discover a thing, he emerged into a long room to find rows and rows of monitors. Screens with a number above it.
Right, 245.
Stanley noticed, however, that these were not random numbers, but the number of employees who worked in the building. His co-workers.
2455542.
427 had a place on the wall. But why set up so elaborate, he asked. Was this simple surveillance, or something even more? And as if in answer to his question, the wall slid open before him, revealing the ultimate truth of the situation.
Oh, what? Oh, I was looking at the numbers. Alright, what's all this?
An enormous control panel Stanley discovered, but not one that controlled simple machinery. Buttons were labeled with emotions: happy, sad. Levers and knobs controlled actions: walking, eating, doing work, or watching TV. Every input on this device monitored not the functions of a machine, but of a human being. And the reality began to sink in. Stanley, like so many other people, reduced to images on a monitor, had been under someone's control, always at the mercy of this machine. Could this have been the only reason employee number 427 was content with his boring job? That a machine had altered his emotions to accept it blindly? He began to feel an unbridled rage. At the peak of his anger, something happened. A spark. Stanley looked up and saw the generator overhead, still providing some small amount of power to the machine, keeping it alive. And knowing that this generator was all that kept the controls running, Stanley moved to the ladder in the back of the room and began to climb towards the rafters. The higher Stanley climbed, the closer he felt to freedom, the further from enslavement.
Wow, look at these two leapers. They're not engage. I guess that's off. I guess I should save it here because apparently there's multiple endings. So, alright, Half-Life 2 saved. I'll come back and engage it. Oh, darkness again?
Blackness, power gone, all alone, and
I have no idea how much this would scare me. I'm too paranoid for this crap. I'm just like, no. Alright, well.
As he stepped through the door into the fresh outside air, a feeling of liberation rushed through Stanley's body. He had seen power. He had seen enslavement.
I did?
And he had destroyed it.
What?
The underling was in control now. He had found his leading role. Stanley never discovered why everyone had gone missing, nor how and when he had come under the machine's control. But it didn't upset him terribly, because he knew that this was how things were meant to happen. All he felt was a delight unlike any he had ever known before. Never again would he follow someone else's orders without question. Never again would anyone tell Stanley where to go, what to do, or how to feel. No more bosses. No more instructions on the screen. Stanley decides for himself now. And he stepped out into the world, and he felt...
Is he flying, or did he get taller?
On his skin. And Stanley was happy.
I don't feel like I won, though. I feel like I'm supposed to figure out what happened to everybody. But, I guess that's one of the endings. Wow. Alright, well. What the? What? I did. Alright then. Let's, go ahead and find out what happens when I turn on the generator, if I could load my game. Oh, whatever. I've got time, so.
Stanley decided to go to the staff lounge to check on his co-workers.
Oh, did I?
He never functioned well by himself.
No, I don't.
And constantly needed support and guidance from others.
Yes, sir.
The thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. As Stanley entered the lounge, he was horrified to find not a single person there. He decided he would walk up to see his boss, hoping that he would find an answered man. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Repetitive story, but I want to know what all the endings are.
Entering his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. It was at this point. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keyboard,
Take that, I skipped the story.
Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Shut up.
Amazing. As he drew deeper into the bowels of the building, Stanley had no idea where he was or what this place meant. And just as he began to think he might not discover a thing, he emerged into a long room to find rows and rows of monitors. Screens with a number above it.
Wait a
Stanley
second.
noticed, however, that these were not random
115.
the number of employees who worked in the building, his co-workers. Even his own number, 427, had a place on the wall. But why is set up so elaborate, he asked. Was this simple surveillance, or something even more? And as if in answer to his question, the wall slid open before him, revealing the ultimate truth. An enormous control panel,
Whoa.
Stanley discovered. But not one that controlled
I skipped it so much that I tapped over.
Buttons were labeled with emotions. Happy, sad.
Legit?
Levers and knobs controlled actions. Walking, eating, doing work, or
That's
watching
legit.
TV. Every input on this device
Buttons everywhere.
monitored not the functions of a machine,
I should remember that later.
but of a human being. And the reality began to sink in. Stanley, like so many other people, reduced to images on a monitor, had been under someone's control, always at the mercy of this machine. Could this have been the only reason employee number 427 was content with his boring job? That a machine had altered his emotions to accept it blindly? He began to feel an unbridled rage.
This will be this part.